Hello friends, 21st September 2024. Some people living in the Mahalakshmi locality of Bangalore found an unusually strong odor coming from one of the houses in their neighborhood. As the house was locked from outside, the landlord was called, and as soon as they opened the door, they were met with pieces of body lying all around the house. The view was so horrific that even police officers could not stand the view without throwing up. Also, it is one of the rare cases where even after proving guilty, the suspect was not given any punishment at all, the reason for which I'll tell you later in the video. So let's dive deep into the full story. I am Sam and you're watching Crime Stories by Sam. The central character of the story is a 29-year-old woman named Mahalakshmi. She belonged to a Nepali family who shifted to Bangalore in search of a better life some 35 years ago. Mahalakshmi was born and brought up in Bangalore itself, and in 2019 she married a fellow Bangalorean, Hemant Das, and moved into his house. Later they had a beautiful daughter and seemingly their life was going great. But the reality was very different. Basically, Hemant owned a mobile shop where he used to work all day, and Mahalakshmi worked at a beauty shop. Now, because Hemant gave most of his attention to his shop, Mahalakshmi felt a void for partner's love, and to fulfill this void, she started getting romantically involved with some of her co-workers. Initially, when Hemant got to know about Mahalakshmi's affairs from his sources, he dismissed them to be just rumors. But later on, he himself caught her chatting and roaming around in the town with one of her co-worker, Ashraf. This cheating revelation became a constant topic of arguments and fights between the couple. The fights became so frequent that at last they decided to get separated, and in October 2023 they got divorced and Mahalakshmi moved into her mom's home. Now initially the custody of their daughter was awarded to Mahalakshmi, as mothers are the preferred custodians of children in divorce cases. But within 4 months, Mahalakshmi transferred their daughter's custody to Hemant, which was pretty weird. But Mahalakshmi used to meet her daughter every week, and keeping aside their differences, both the parents focused on giving their daughter a good life. This went on for some time. Then Mahalakshmi moved out of her mom's home and shifted to a rented house in Bangalore's Mahalakshmi locality. Now, after moving to this new house, Mahalakshmi lost contact with most of her family members. In fact, she wasn't even very social with her neighbors too, due to which none of her neighbors knew anything about her, not even her name. But on the flip side, like earlier, now too she was having multiple love affairs, and the only people she was in contact with were her boyfriends. Everything for her was going pretty smoothly till now. But all of a sudden she just vanished. Basically, the last time she was seen with someone was on 19th August when she was with her family celebrating Raksha Bandhan. And 2nd September was the last date she called someone on her phone. Since then, her house was locked from outside. Her neighbors too noticed her absence, but as they had no social contact with her, they just ignored it. But within a few days, they started noticing a faint but a weird odor coming from her house, which grew stronger and stronger with each passing day. On 21st September, the odor became unbearable, after which they called the landlord. Seeing the situation, the landlord tried to call Mahalakshmi, but her phone was switched off. Next, he tried calling on the emergency number that Mahalakshmi provided in her rental agreement, which happens to be of her mother's, who was briefed about the whole situation. Thankfully, she had a spare key of the house, which she brought with her the very next day. When she, along with the landlord and some neighbors, opened the door, they were met with such a strong odor that except the mother and the landlord, none of the neighbors dared to go inside. The view inside the house was nightmarish. The walls were splattered with and body parts were scattered throughout the house. Some of the neighbors quickly informed the local police. When the police arrived, they had to use 2 to 3 face masks just to enter the house, and even then some of them vomited due to the strong odor. Along with body parts, police also found blood-stained female clothes and footwear. Seeing the condition of the whole house, police called the forensics team, who then started retrieving all the pieces by searching each and every room of the house. But the real horror was about to unfold. There was a 175-liter fridge which had its door half open and was seeping from it. When the forensics team fully opened the door, they found that it was stuffed to the brim with even more body parts, which were badly infested with maggots. Mahalakshmi's head was also found inside the fridge, which confirmed that all these body parts were of 29-year-old Mahalakshmi. Seeing these nightmarish visuals, Mahalakshmi's mom fainted. By now, police had a total of 59 body parts in its custody, which led to the assumption that the killer is either a psycho or it was a rage crime. According to forensics, Mahalakshmi died some 19 days ago. So police started backtracking the dates and investigated all the people who were in contact with her during those dates. The first suspect who came to the site was Mahalakshmi's ex-husband Hemant Das. But when police called him for inquiry and cross-checked his statements with CCTV footage, it was clear that he had not been anywhere near Mahalakshmi's house during the date and time of her death. Now the next suspect was Mahalakshmi's ex-boyfriend Ashraf, about whom police got to know from Hemant. But after an inquiry with Ashraf, police got to know that he and Mahalakshmi got separated a long time ago, and a CCTV check also confirmed that he too wasn't the killer. Now police was completely clueless, as both of their prime suspects were found to be innocent. A major problem was, even though there were CCTV cameras in Mahalakshmi's colony, none of them directly focused on her house, which made it difficult to guess who was the last person to enter the house. Now, while police was brainstorming about ideas to catch the killer, they realized that one of the co-worker of Mahalakshmi never got interrogated, as he never showed up. This co-worker was 39-year-old Mukti Ranjan Roy, who was now the prime suspect. When police checked the CCTV cameras, it was confirmed that Mukti has been around Mahalakshmi's house multiple times on the day of her murder. All this was enough for police to go after him. But by the time police visited his house, he was already on a run. Police then contacted his workplace and got the address of his brother Smriti Ranjan, who also lived in Bangalore. But when they visited Smriti's house and interrogated him, he initially tried to mislead them, which led police to toughen their methods, after which he gave up all the information. He said Mukti confessed everything to him on the day of itself. Also, Mukti suggested him to relocate to a different house so that police won't be able to take his help to catch him. Mukti also asked for some money which he was to use to flee Karnataka. All this confirmed that Mukti was indeed the killer. Police immediately traced his phone number, which showed his last location to be of West Bengal. But when the police team reached there, he was nowhere to be found. In West Bengal, police came to know that the only other place where he can be right now is Bhadrak town of Odisha, where some of his friends lived. On 25th September, police reached Odisha's Bhadrak, and indeed Mukti was found there. Except he was dead. Yes, Mukti had committed by hanging himself to a tree, although he did leave a note explaining his side of the story, which along with the statements of Mahalakshmi's ex-husband Hemant give a clear picture of the whole incident. As per his note, Mahalakshmi was very hot-tempered and money-minded woman. Once he got angry, she used to get into physical fights, which Hemant also confirmed was a commonplace during their marriage years. Both of them were in a relationship since 6 months, and throughout this time, there was a constant demand by Mahalakshmi for money and to get married. But by then, Mukti was already well versed with the cheating habits and multiple affairs of Mahalakshmi. Thus, he did not want to marry her, which led to constant arguments and fights between them, some getting so loud that they could easily be heard by their neighbors. On 3rd September 2, they got into one such heated argument, which quickly escalated into a physical fight. By now, Mukti was fed up with Mahalakshmi's anger issues and constant demand for money. So this time when things got physical, in a fit of rage, he attacked Mahalakshmi's head with great force, which led to immediate death of her. After some time, when Mukti came back to his senses and realized the wrong he has done, he got scared and started searching on internet about ways to dispose of a body. Next day on 4th September at around 11 am, he went to a nearby shop and purchased a very sharp knife, all of which got caught on CCTV camera. But as the locality was pretty crowded, there was no way he could dispose of the body outside the house. Thus, he chopped the body into multiple pieces and stuffed them in the fridge. He then quickly switched off his phone and fled the area. This was Mukti's side of story. Now the question that still remains is why Mukti committed. Basically, it was never a planned. What Mukti did was in a fit of rage, and he wasn't even ready for the outcome of it. It is possible that he felt so much guilt and was so much ashamed of his wrongdoing that he decided to end it all. Also, he was very scared of getting caught by the police, so that could also be one of the reasons he decided to take such a big step. But as his note mentions nothing about it, we'll never know for sure. Now, police had to close the case even after catching the as there was no one left to give punishment. So this was all about Bangalore's Mahalakshmi case. If you liked the video, then do give it a like, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to watch more such crime videos. Stay safe and sound. Meet you in the next one.